Thank you, Jack. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beaver Stadium. I'm Blair Patterson, like Jack said, joined in the broadcast booth by Cody Enos. The 5-4 Penn State Nittany Lions will be taking on the 1-8 Purdue Boilermakers with game time temperatures between 52 and 57 degrees with a slight breeze. One thing is for sure, it's great football weather and a great day for some Big Ten football. Penn State will be looking to improve to 6-4 in the year against the Purdue team that does not have a Big Ten conference win yet this season. Both teams come into this game with freshman quarterbacks. The only two true freshman quarterbacks slated to start in the Big Ten today. Christian Hackenberg has been the starter all year for the Nittany Lions, and Purdue quarterback Danny Etling was thrust into the starting position just 5 games into the season. Last week, Penn State lost at Minnesota 24-10, and Purdue is coming off of a 38-14 loss against Iowa. Penn State has the lead in the series between these two teams with an overall record of 12-3-1 going back to the first matchup in 1951. At Beaver Stadium, the Nittany Lions hold a 6-1 record against the Purdue Boilermakers. Purdue will be looking to escape State College today with its first Big Ten win of the season and its first win since September 7th when they beat Indiana State by a score of 20-14. Cody, what will Purdue need to do today against Penn State to get that elusive Big Ten win?
Well, scoring has been a bit of a challenge for the Boilermakers, especially in the red zone. They're converting just 65% of their red zone visits into scores, which means they'll need to make big plays outside of the red zone if they want to capture their first Big Ten win today. One person they're most likely to turn to for those big plays is junior running back Akeem Hunt, who leads the team in both rushing yards and receptions and can also have an impact in special teams where he already has a 99-yard return for a touchdown this season.
You talk about scoring in these games, and we've seen Penn State start off slowly in a couple of games this year. What will Bill O'Brien do today to get off to a fast start?
Well, it seems like a no-brainer that Bill O'Brien and the Nittany Lions will try to run the ball all over Purdue's less than stellar run defense right from the start. The Boilermakers' opponents are averaging 223 yards a game on the ground, and that is ranked 111th in the nation. Who will be the one getting the carries for Penn State, however, may be a bigger question. After a huge 200-yard game against Illinois, Bill Bellin ran the ball only 7 times versus Minnesota, with senior Zach Zwinak getting the majority of the carries to pile up 150 yards. Don't be surprised to see a mix of the two right from the start, and maybe even see some carries for Akeel Lynch as well.
During his 2 seasons at Penn State, Bill O'Brien is 6-1 following losses. Obviously, they lost last week to Minnesota. So what will Penn State do today to improve that record to 7-1 after a loss last week against the Minnesota Golden Gophers?
Well, it's no doubt that Penn State's defensive line has undoubtedly been one of the more disappointing units on this team, as they're considered a strength for this team coming into the season with guys like Daquan Jones and Deion Barnes expect to have big years. That has not been the case, as Penn State's pass rush was almost non-existent in some games this season. That trend may change today, however, as Purdue's offensive line is one of the worst in the Big Ten. Their leading running back has only 325 yards, which is just a little more than Penn State's third leading rusher. Daquan Jones already has 10.5 tackles for a loss in the season, which is good for 5th in the Big Ten, and that will have to increase today if the Nittany Lions will want to avoid their first back-to-back losses of the season.
Well, we'll see how that Penn State defensive line fares today against the 1-8 Purdue Boilermakers, as we will have kickoff and complete game coverage in a few moments. Keep it locked on the Lion 90.7 FM.